Okay, so today I'm going to be playing the very first Map Labs mapping competition run for Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Now, Map Labs is the name of the mapping competitions run on the Source Modding Community Discord server. So it's put on by the moderators, and obviously the theme for this first Map Labs was horror. Obviously it was released on Halloween, so kind of the aim of it was to create a creepy or scary map, and obviously there's many ways of achieving that, and we'll look at some of the techniques that were used in these maps. I think there were 7 entries. Also, I was a judge for this. I think I was the only third party judge for this competition, and yeah, so I've played through them all a couple of times before, and I basically rated them on visuals, gameplay and immersion. So they were like the 3 categories, and I'll talk about them when I need to. So I'll go through them. These videos are basically for feedback, so hopefully the entrant watches and can hopefully get a bit of feedback, and hopefully everyone else can learn some stuff. So the very first entry is called The Sun Vanished.
This afternoon, panic is taking hold on the nation in response to the sudden disappearance of the sun, with violent riots taking place in just about every major city. We are receiving an influx of reports of ransacking and looting from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. with hundreds more isolated incidents coming in hourly. The president made a public statement this morning urging people to remain calm and stay in their homes.
So instantly it's kind of set up the premise. Now it's not a particularly complicated, storyline, but that's what you're wanting with these kind of, Half-Life 2 maps. You're not wanting like Lord of the Rings or anything. It's just something simple. It's obviously the sun vanished, everyone's rioting. You get the idea. And obviously there was a lot of like the shadow in the background, which kind of is a bit unnerving. So already it's kind of set up really well. The introduction to that one's phenomenal. And then you kind of get unleashed in this house, where you can look around. And you kind of don't quite know what you're up against. So you get told about it, and it's a technique used in horror games and movies where you're hearing about something but you don't quite know what it is. Obviously there we see very briefly kind of what we're up against, and this is giving you instructions. So you're kind of like, oh, we've got to basically stay out of sight. So sound is very good here. It's kind of creating the scariness, if you want to call it that. And we can see this thing's kind of in the kitchen looking about for us. And the thing here is it's not particularly quick, so it's giving you a chance as a player to kind of try the door won't open. And the aim here, yeah, this is what happens when you die, basically. Yeah, so the aim here is to basically get to a hiding place. So it has the pressure, basically, to it. And I think the idea is that you kind of just got to camp out in this cupboard. At least I think that's what the purpose of it is. Which it's a bit difficult that you can't actually see the bad guy. You can hear him and you can see this flashing, although I don't think that's a particularly useful way of achieving that. So if there was a way of somehow managing to look out into the corridor, even just like a tiny gap where you could see, that would make it slightly better. Although I guess the idea is that, oh, we've got to listen and we've got to peek. I guess it adds tension. But just for usability, that would be one thing. I do like the, the way the light's done, where you can see where the thing is going from the light, which is something, instead of looking for the orb itself, you're just looking, you can see it from the light, basically. So at this point it's a bit confusing because then you come downstairs and you look about, but this door does open now. I'm not sure if that could be made slightly clearer. And then it kind of releases you out into the open. The sun has vanished. And it's a nice big open area, but there's not very much to find, which is alright, but it does give you as a player the chance to explore and to... I don't think you can get up there. To have a little look around. I mean, visually it's not particularly... there's nothing that draws your attention except for the light, which is basically the start of the path. But otherwise, it's not bad detailing wise. And then we've got a bit of a walk, which is supposed to, I guess, unnerve the player even more. Here you're like, even that time when I came around the corner, you kind of stop and you think, what's that? And then you realise it's just a car. For some reason it's, down here, and it's a bit mysterious, so it's actually, the world building's very... bizarre in a very good way, and this is just a viewpoint, basically, put in here for the purpose of viewing where you're going to go. I'm not sure how much fog there is, but I think this place could do with more fog. If as an example of something that would enhance it. So... here, it's a simple gate, but look what happens. I think this was maybe done in Half-Life 2. I can't remember. Or at least it's been done before, but it's something simple as a sign falling off a gate, which... you don't expect that. You kind of just expect the gate to open and to walk through, so it just makes it that little bit more interesting. So adding small, tiny details like that are a lot better. Now this bit was a bit strange because you have to kind of... oh yeah, so you follow the rope. But we've got to be careful because for some reason... the thing opens up, but then you hear the sound and then this guy appears out of nowhere and basically owns you. So... my initial thought was to hide behind here, I thought, well, that'd be a great, idea. It's like you're hiding, but then the thing can still, for some reason, find you. So if there is a way to kind of get away from him, or the orb, it's not very clear. I mean, I think it's wanting you to kind of run over here. I think if we go over there, there's another one. So we'll open the gate. We'll have a bit of a run. And the idea is that we're getting tracked down by these guys. And then that sounds kind of just to, show you the doors are shut and you are safe. And you can hear them banging your way, which I think is an amazing touch. Yeah, we'll get back. We'll get to that. So then we have the good old battery puzzle, which, I think I've brought this up before on the channel, is that the battery puzzle is not very effective unless you're, you need to explore an area for later. Say if there was a battle taking place here, you would explore to find the batteries and you'd know where to go. But here it's just simply find the batteries, which isn't as engaging as it could be. They're all basically just in the rooms that there are basically in this room, in this building. So yeah, we've got that one. I think there's one in here, yeah. Yeah, so the 3 rooms and the 3... oh. the free batteries. Oh, surely, surely. And then it opens this thing. I don't know what it is. So that was a good mysterious ending. I mean, you don't quite know what's going on. I mean, to be honest, you don't really know what's going on. Well, you do it. Like, the premise was built up, and then at the end you're kind of like, well, what else is happening? So it's kind of mysterious, but it's very well set up. So I have to say that was one of the better ones in the challenge. For, you know, the reasons I outlined. And the immersion was really great, especially, as I said, the way the premise was built up. So, entry number 2 is called Unanswered Questions. So this one begins with as you can see, just to walk along the path, and obviously the credits are rolling, which is a good time. It's kind of, it's building up to something big, or at least that's kind of what the purpose of it was, I presume. It has that kind of anticipation, and then we get to the point where it's clear, the path is clearly laid out for us to go this way, because can't go that way. We've got to go this way, and there's some more weird, you know, another car light on. Which there's something popular about putting, you know, car headlights on. But anyway, so it gives us this flare, which I think is supposed to be kind of foreshadowing, but I'll get back to that. Anyway, what was I doing here? Yeah, but it's supposed to be like unnerving, and what's that? What's going on? So it's not bad in that respect. It's a bit, it disorientates you basically. Not like physically, but in your mind you think, what's going on? Where is it? And there's more walking, which is fine. I mean, walking's a big part in these horror maps. I think the reason why this building's so, or it was going for enclosed, is smaller spaces tend to make things more tense, basically. I mean, if you think about Slender, I think there's like toilets. I don't know, it's been a while since I've played Slender. But it was like these toilets that you went into, and it would be like scary, and you'd be more creeped out in there, but you'd actually feel safe out in the open, or more safer out in the open. So anyway, we'll go down here first and trigger this. So it's kind of to say, look, something's happening. You're not going to have to walk in the dark. Now this bit was quite confusing for me the first time I played it, because you can clearly see part of the puzzle. So we need to use that. We don't quite know what for. We can't get in there. But we also see this, you know, the blood and the flare. So I initially thought this was a glitch, you know, but it's actually, you know, the purpose of it is that you're carrying the flare. So I got a bit confused, and then I spent like ages trying to open up that. So it's not very well signposted, or rather, it's not very well brought, you know, to the foreground what you're actually trying to achieve. So then the only thing to do is to start exploring, and this bit's long and, you know, large and not very inspiring, I have to say. And the point is you're supposed to be all creeped out, but after, I don't know how long it was, after a wee while I kind of got a bit, in fact I got really bored walking about these tunnels, which I think if they were smaller, it would be fine. So that's kind of a problem, because I don't mind the whole, you've got to search for something, but as I said back there, things aren't very well signposted for what you have to do. I mean, there are these side rooms which have lots of props in it, but you don't know if you should be looking in there for things. I'll go back, because I think I'll go to the smaller item. I think it's somewhere over here. Maybe not. It's in one of these rooms. I think it's this one. But this took me, if I can find it. It's difficult to also see anything with the flare. There it is. This took me ages, basically. I don't even know how long I was, but all I was doing was, searching everywhere. Because there's a lot of these rooms with nothing in them. So you expect, oh well, none of them will have anything in there. But obviously the key was in that one now. I think we can go back this way, actually. I think I'm going to do this in the order you're maybe supposed to do it. Although there's nothing to say what order you're supposed to do it. Because obviously I found the key last. And there's a generator over that way, which I found, but then I had to go back, and then I had to go back again. It was really, really long and boring. And then you kind of have to take this... You drag this through the maze of... I don't actually know what this building's supposed to be. But I think that's part of the charm. Maybe charm is not the right word for it, but it's like, well, where am I? It could be like a water sewage place, because we'll eventually come to, a sewage area, but we'll get to that. I don't think it's in there, I think it's this way. I know these corridors so well because, obviously, after multiple playthroughs, and the first time just spending so long. So, I think that one plugs in there, and then it glitches out, and then plugs in there. And then obviously we need for some reason we need a gas canister, whatever you call it. I don't know. A gas can. But that's on the other side. And you see, at this point, you expect something to be happening. But it's all just the same. It's all just walking. It's not very inspiring. So if you could find more... Oh, I think we missed the turning. I'll keep going this way. If there was more to kind of engage the player, then it would be so much better as opposed to just walking and searching for, well, you don't know what you're searching for because obviously the key took ages. Now this thing here is a bit strange because I get the point, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to avoid it as a player or if you're supposed to jump it like that, but you still take damage, which is a bit weird. But if there was like, I mean, I guess there's crates about, so maybe you go back and get that, but there isn't any clear way of getting past that without getting hurt, which, from a gameplay point of view, doesn't work very well. So yeah. Yeah, here we go. Again, this could just be a normal prop if you haven't seen it. I think that's what happened. I think the route of progression for me the first time was I found the can, this canister, whatever you call it. And I then went back to the start to look to see if I needed it for anything. Then I found the generator, so then I went back for the can. I don't remember this place. I don't think oh no, I do. Yeah. I thought that was like a completely different area, but it's not. We're still in the same place. Yeah. So then I went to the generator, went back for the can, found the key, brought the plug through, basically it was really long and really boring, and if the area was smaller but still had the same environment, it would be much better. Right, well quickly, I'll jump because it makes me feel like I'm going faster, although I'm not. Now, the thing is, this does not tell you anything really. Like, what have you done? As the player, you have no idea what you have achieved. You're like, I was standing here waiting for these doors to open, like, open. I actually forgot to go over, because back where the canister was, there's actually a gate, and you can see through the gate. So at this point, yeah, at this point, as the player, you don't know what to do. You're kind of stuck. There's nothing to tell you where to go. Oh, gee, that's a dead end. I forgot. I mean, there are things in this maze that kind of define it, like the bars, you know, the gate that I got to and got a bit surprised at. You know, this area's, you know, you can tell it's this area. Oh, gee, yeah, there's this guy, and he's really scary. I was a bit hesitant about mentioning him, and then I completely forgot about him myself. We're gonna have to run away from him. Which I think's good that, you know, it even got me that time. So I'm not entirely sure if we're supposed to, like, flare... Wait, there's two guys? I did not know that. I think that's a bit too strange. And then the gate closes, which... Obviously, in the last map, the doors closed because of the, how would I put it? The, you know, the orbs coming after you, which is, I think that's important. And here, it's obviously, again, important. So, usually, I wouldn't condone that sort of stuff. But for, you know, something like that, I think it's fine. Now, this bit, again, took me ages to try and work out, because there's no clear way to go. Like, at one point, I threw every single prop in the sewer, thinking that it was going to, you know, do something. Actually, I'm not sure. A good suggestion for these guys is, when you see them, it makes like a scary sound, because that would make it better. I can't remember if it did that, because I was so surprised. Anyway, I'll quickly find the exit, just to stop this from going on too long. But here it is. Again, it's not very clear. And I get that you're supposed to, you know, have a look around for it, but there's also got to be that element of, when you're looking around, it's got to be somewhat obvious for, you know, in terms of good gameplay. It can't be like in a place where it's impossible to find. Anyway, I think these guys are going to come through here at some point. So I was like looking about here, because it's not very obvious that you've got to jump down there, except for that there's boxes down there, which kind of taught me as a player that you can go down there and you can go back up. And then it ends. So that map had its flaws, obviously, with the clear lack of direction. But obviously it also had the kind of scare factor when that you know, the guy with the crowbar gets unleashed into the maze. Allegedly there's two of them, and I never knew that. So, like, twice before, I only met the one, which I think's possible if these guys, like, if they get spread out. Or maybe I didn't meet the first guy. I'm not sure, to be honest, how it works. So yeah, that was... Alright. So I'm just going to go in immediately and start nitpicking or whatever. Feedback, it's feedback. But this is not a fun combat scenario. So, coming around the corner and seeing a zombie, I get that you're trying to break the player into the map, but him just standing there is not fun. So, you need to find interesting ways of introducing your bad guys. So, say, I'll think of an example off the top of my head. Say there's like an area here and there's some health or maybe a battery pack. As a player, you go to pick up the battery pack and then the wall gets broken down by a zombie and you have that scare factor. Now, it's not scare as in, you know, terrifying jump scare. It's just as in, oh, you know, there he is. And then he starts attacking you. And zombies, you know, you can put zombies up close because that's what they're for. They're close quarters enemies, unlike, you know, combined soldiers and all that. But that's an interesting way of introducing them. But this was not. So I'd recommend, you know, trying to up the ante with the combat. Now, I quite like the lighting in this area coming through these windows. And also the barnacles there just to kind of make you think. And for some reason I'm out of ammo, which is fine because we've got the crowbar and it's just these head crabs at the moment. That's a very interesting place for putting the barnacle, but I'd recommend, because he's not very effective. I mean, he did catch me the very, very first time, which you could say, oh, well, that's effective, but it doesn't make the player have to obviously think about entering this room if they don't see it. Easy to walk past, and if it does get them, the player, it's more an annoyance rather than you know, oh, a big surprise, you know, like that, oh, you know, feeling that you get when you get caught. And it was done, you know, I've seen stuff where it's a genuine surprise when you get caught by these guys, but he's just there. So, barnacles, you know, you've got to strategically place them. So, placing many of them around this room would actually be a better one. So, you actually create kind of a maze and you could hit them, shoot them. I mean, that's the thing here, is you could generally just hit them. If the room was higher, I'm not sure why, maybe because there's something above it, it couldn't be, or I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, really think about where you're placing the barnacles, and then, you know, the map would, you know, get elevated to new heights. And obviously there's some more barnacles here. This guy, again, he's just there, but if there was barnacles placed all along here, because there's one over there as well, I don't know what he's doing, he's not kind of extended. Or whatever you call it. I'm not sure what you call it. I think it's just like a drop tongue input. Anyway, that wasn't a problem. And these boxes, I think it's good that they've been placed on this bridge, because otherwise it'd be an easy run. But you've got the zombies to deal with. Potentially a barnacle if that guy was actually working, and obviously the head crabs. So these crates basically give the player an extra factor to think about. I mean, it's not like strategically planning how to jump over the crates, but it's not an easy run towards the zombies and hit them. You've kind of back here. You're kind of thinking, oh, there's crates in the way. Got to jump over them. Got to find a way around them. As a secondary obstacle, basically. I'm not sure what these crystals are supposed to be. They're quite cool, especially the red one. This is good. Although I would suggest turning the barrel around, so as soon as the player enters the room, they can see it. It is an exploding barrel, because I think it's cool to kind of get the shooting the barrels and seeing the zombies go flying. I think that would be a lot more fun. Obviously, I don't know why this guy didn't die immediately there. It was kind of a bit strange. I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind that so much. But again, if the barrel was facing this way, then it would be a lot more fun. Now, I'm going to try and negotiate this ladder, which is often quite difficult. Now, one of the issues I had with this, which I think affected the visual category for me, is, you know, for some reason we're in a mine and then we're in some kind of... What was that? Something just pushed me forward. I think it was the can. Anyway, yeah, it was this can. You know, the environment is not believable, and I don't see any reason for it to change so rapidly. I mean, I get like, oh, it's a combine. You know, they may have built an area underground, but it's just not believable at all. Come on. Also, I think I've got... No, I don't have any other weapons. It would be really handy to have a bit more ammo. I mean, is he moonwalking? Yeah, it'd be handy to have ammo to kind of kill these guys. This guy is just an annoyance to kind of hit with a crowbar, as I've just demonstrated. I'm not sure what that thing's supposed to be. Wow. I was setting up for that one, and for some reason I missed. I mean, I'm not the best at playing this game. I don't think you can get in here. I think this bit's just like extra bit. This is good. It kind of gives you kind of... Oh yeah, you don't need to interact with that. It gives you stuff to find. I think that's good. It kind of showed the ladder dropping, which makes you kind of look up and, you know, see this basically. So that's actually quite good. Also, it just makes it interesting. Base alert code 9. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I think that's the way to go. And this is kind of just a side room. I'm not sure if you could break them. I don't think I ever tried. No, you can't. Anyway, it's good that this map uses like custom stuff. Oh yeah, I remember this. And then more crystals and stuff like that. I think that's it. No, we've still got this guy. Wait. That is weird. It's weird how he kind of glides on the displacements. There we go. I found my form. Wait. Yeah, there's quite a lot of errors, in fact. I think the first time I played there was a lot of errors, but I'm not sure why. But they seem to be fixed. Right, there we go. So, I've outlined all of the issues. That map was... Wait, is it finished? Yeah, I think it has. I don't know, for some reason the background's not showing up. So yeah, obviously that map had a few things that could be tweaked, but it's, you know, it's all things that could be easily fixed, so I'm sure like the next map by that particular mapper will be much better. Okay, entry number 4 is called Gracie Manor.
I've been low on money recently, and my rent is up. An old associate of mine, Frank, told me about a place called Gracie Manor, an old, dilapidated and rotting mansion in the woods by 36th Street. Word is that the owner was rich, and after he died, all of his belongings were left in his house as a living memento of what once was. I'll sneak in after dark and see what I can find. Hopefully, nobody has already raided it.
So in terms of intros, you might be surprised to know that I actually quite liked that one. I mean, with like the tinted photo... I should have probably looked at that later. Although you saw it, you know, scary. G-man. Anyway, I quite liked that one because of the tinted photo and the way the vocals, you know, the voice was. I mean, obviously a lot more could be done to make it more professional, but these mapping competitions, they're not, you know, they're not rated on like a ultra professional level, so it's not like it matters that much. But, you know, I liked it. And it was one of the more creative ways of setting up narrative through just, you know, talking, and I enjoyed that. Anyway, it's got some scary sounds, which is a bit disorientating. Again, you're like, what's going on? Try the front door, doesn't work. And then there is a puzzle. When I say puzzle, as I've said many, many, many times, I don't mean like something where you've got to sit for 10 minutes and work it out. It's just, oh, I've got to get up there. There's a ladder. Here's some boxes. Jump, jump, jump. Here's a proper puzzle. You've actually got to work out... oh wait, you don't actually. You just... oh wait, you do. It's because I was playing a map recently. I don't think I recorded it, but I was trying to break... I was trying to break a window with a brick in like this scenario, and I kept throwing it, and then I just tried the door, and the door actually just worked. It's because when you get to that scenario, you automatically just try. You just try, you know, throwing bricks at the window. So here, I guess they're gold bars, and this is like a torch, and then you've got flares and stuff. So it's kind of set up to be quite creepy in it. I think the way it's set up is quite good at, you know, at this moment in time. Now, I only noticed this the last time, but we'll go down here, and then yeah, that thing kind of grabs your, you know, attention. You're kind of, what was that? It's all a bit creepy. And you can hear the footsteps again. It makes it all very unnerving. I think if we go back... oh, I thought these guys moved. Maybe they do and I'm just like imagining things. Maybe we've got to go around. Dead guy on the floor. There's nothing better in a... yeah, there it is. That is amazing. Like, I only noticed that this second time I played. And it actually, you know, it got me. You know, and it's something that was done in like Nightmare House 2, where I think there was mannequins and stuff like that. If I think that's the one I'm remembering. If not, it'll be another scary mod. But they would move, and there was a whole section on it. I think that's supposed to be a shadow from that guy, which is cool. Anyway, and I think it's now, the lighting here is different, so things are changing. It says squad following, which I actually forgot about. You know, it's supposed to be like, you know, oh, what does that mean? I think that's what it's supposed to mean. It'd actually be really interesting to find out what the thinking behind putting the squad following thing down there is. Anyway, there's like eyes and stuff there. Now I think if you fall down there you die, which kind of breaks the whole flow of the map. So I'd suggest putting like a teleport trigger where if you fall down there it just teleports you there. Yeah, here we are. Again, very unnerving sounds. And the chanting. You see, I jumped across there. You expect not to go down here and because the light's there, which is kind of one of these, you know, it just gets more gameplay out of it. Instead of just dropping straight down here, I jumped across there. Even the third time I did that, so. Now I've kind of got a maze type thing where you can look about, you can see all the... I think this is like a crypt or something. I don't know if I was supposed to be further back when that happened, I'm not sure. But then you can see more people running. Eyes up there. I think I was supposed to fall through. But yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure how to describe anything else. Actually, I can't remember what it was I was supposed to do. Was it the radio? Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, that map was one of the more on the creepy side, and the way it was set up, as I said at the start, was very good. It was a lot of just walking and getting creeped out, which after a while it kind of, you know, you kind of build up a strength to it, but there was still like the gameplay elements in there which made it somewhat entertaining, so that was alright. Entry number 5 is called Terminus, which at the start, this is just like really cool. You can just see like this long corridor. It's very unnerving. You're constantly checking behind you. And there's this anticipation, like, what's behind the door? I'll save it, because if you turn around, it creates this, feeling of help, get me out of here. That's what I was doing. Like, the first time I was like turning around, trying to open the door, and then I think something happens. Yeah, you can see the scary guy running towards you. For some reason it opened that way, which is a bit strange. But the music's kind of effective, I'd say. We can see we need a valve for some reason. It doesn't make too much sense. And I think you could see something. Obviously to go in here to get the valve wheel thing. Missed. And then it kind of leads you into this room. Again, I don't know why the valve opens that door. That doesn't make too much sense. No one gets out alive, and there's all these skulls floating around. It's supposed to be quite creepy, I think. I don't think that ending was very good at all. I mean, what was it? It was, that sound was probably there for jump scare factor, but it didn't work. Without visuals, it just doesn't work. Or proper, something that the player can actually see to go along with the sound. So, the start of that map, the first corridor basically, up until you get through the door, perfect, amazing. Like, that's some of the best horror gameplay I've seen in Half-Life 2. After that, it fell flat with the valve and the door and then the thing at the end. Not very good. So, I mean, I'm not suggesting that the map should have been ended after that, but then something else needs to be found to top that. Maybe that bit at the end would have actually been better. I don't know, but it was just like the second half of that map after you got through the door just couldn't top the first bit, which is kind of what my issue was with the map, was that it kind of threw it all away. Anyway, Entry number 6, Shadow Walker 2. So, this is, I think, a sequel to a map I have played on this channel, I believe. Although I can't actually remember it. But it was very, I guess it's very similar setup. Where you can read, so it sets up the narrative or the premise of the map in written format, but it's in a sense that it's part of the environment. So I think it's like scientists and whatnot writing this stuff, and it's not like in terms of what it's saying. It's not saying you must go and do this, or at least it's hinting at that, but it's not outright saying to the player. It's saying to the person in this world, what's going on. On the first sign of danger, launch the bomb. It's telling us the player, but it's telling us it as if we were the character, which is great. And you can see like these rooms which have stuff in it. So actually there's the valve wheel there, which you can basically put 2 and 2 together instantly. You see that? You know that there's that. You've kind of worked out that puzzle already, and it's good. And then it's just finding a way to do that. And I think that was all there was to see at the moment here. But the good thing is, this area is all going to be used again. So it's not like you're, it's not like you're, how should I put it? Leaving it all behind. Now, I knew there was something coming, but I couldn't remember what it was. Now, the issue with flat is you've caused this kind of, there's kind of, I don't know how to say it, but there's a relief in most players, not all players, but most players, that if something scary happens, the chances that the next scary thing is going to actually scare them is very, very low. At least in theory. So you've kind of wasted that scare factor, so you start the radio, it makes that sound. And then I think it's in here. Yeah. This scare guy, who seems to be in every single map for some reason, starts chasing you. Now, he has like superpowers, I think. Well, he does. I know he has superpowers. But you're to kind of run away, and like initially I thought I was safe. I was like, oh phew. Until I found out. I'll just wait for it to happen. Oh goodness, where is he? I heard him. There. He can come through these kind of portals. Oh, that did not work out the way I wanted it to. And it has like the scary sound. I think they all the maps use this kind of sound. Anyway, I think we're safe up here. If I don't fall. I mean, the space is awfully tight. I'll tell you what. We'll just go straight on to the actual That's right. Okay, so you've got to lead him back round. So after you've done that, you can find the crowbar, which you can, get to the good stuff, basically. Wait, is he still around? There's certainly something still around. I can't remember if he comes again, because I know there's other enemies. There he is. Well, it's a different one, obviously. He's carrying a pipe. Because I can hear footsteps, which is really good in, in terms of unnervingness. You see, like, even like the third time playing this, it kind of, shocks you. And I think it's really well set up. Now, what I don't think is well set up is 4 of these guys running towards you. Is there anything else? Wait, there was a... I think there was like another... There was other guns somewhere, but I can't remember where. I'll need to go find them. No. Yeah, here we go. Here they are. Oh, I'm stuck. So yeah, it's basically this kind of high-speed chase. But yeah, I'd recommend getting the shotgun. It's powerful. Oh, completely missed him that time. Oh, this guy's still around. But I heard footsteps still. I don't think this room's the best to have this kind of battle. I mean, it needs to be more open, but not too open. Like, the thing is, it's good that it's kind of this barn environment. But, again, if it was more open, there'd be more chance of strategically planning. And again, when I say strategically planning, I don't mean like you have to sit down and draw up a schematic on a bit of paper on how you're going to take on this battle. It's just thinking, oh right, how am I going to take on them? Ah right, that's right. I guess it puts more pressure if it's kind of a smaller area. So, that was quite good. It had the whole, you know, tension there. Again, I wouldn't have had the stairs breaking gag, or whatever you call it. I would have kept that, or not done it. Because then you meet the crowbar guy, basically. But yeah, that had a lot of good things in it. So now we're on entry number 7, which is called Mom and Dad.
Somehow I thought things would be better by now.
I don't know how the hell we got out of there.
I hear it's a lot better out in the country. We really can't afford to get noticed.
I wish we had a map. Look out!
Alright, so that was a very creative introduction to kind of the premise of the map. So obviously the premise is really, really easy to follow. You are a kid and your parents have, well, you and your parents have escaped something. You don't quite know what. I guess that's not really important. Probably the Combine. And then they've got out and been zapped into oblivion, allegedly. Which is where the mystery comes in, the mysterious happenings. So then you're left on your own to kind of look around and it's a bit creepy. So I like the first time I took this doll with me to see if it was like one of these, you know, taking the gnome all the way through to see if it would grant me a reward, but it wouldn't. But that would have been a cool thing to put in, unless I just messed up somewhere and it was the case, but that would be good. So anyway, okay, so that was like the first jump scare thing. I don't know what you want to call it. But going into the mine, or whatever it is, I'm just trying to remember. Oh yeah, here. It kind of has another kind of shocky thing. I don't quite know how to describe it. And then a third one. At this point, I do not think it's a good thing that there have been 3 quick scare, you know, tries, you know, 3 things that are trying to scare you in quick succession. I think having, you know, using these sparingly is a very is actually a better way of doing it instead of having them very quickly in quick succession. So having 1 would have been fine, but then it continued to happen like all the way through. Even like when this thing broke, it was, you know, it counted. Anyway, so I think there's this kind of puzzle where the battery gets spewed out and, you know, it's not a battery you can pick up because you don't have the suit, and you try and put it back in, it doesn't go back in. Wait, where's it gone? It seems to have gone into the void or something. And, you know, the point in it is to find a new one. And you can tell that. I think there's a rope. Yeah, there's a rope up here leading to this door. So you kind of have the, you know, you can't open it. You can look through, you can see an elevator. You know that's the way to go, as opposed to this way. You know that this definitely isn't the way to go. It'd be funny if I pushed that in, because it makes a sound as if it works. So I don't know if that needs to be changed. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of, it's very clear, very well set out puzzle. And then you go down this this route of weird things. Well, weird enough. Actually, I'll do that. Again, this is similar to the first map we played where the kind of sign fell off the gate. It's just something unexpected that you don't think is going to happen, and it just makes it 10 times more interesting, and that was done perfectly. And I don't quite understand this bit. It's just kind of a creepy Halloween thing that has no significance at all. It's quite cool, but at the same time, all of the scare value's been lost because of the stuff before. There's also a shoe which I could potentially carry with me. This thing's quite hard to get. That's one thing I would say. But otherwise, it's clear that, you know, what you have to do. That one got me because there was no noise, I think. And then you kind of just throw that in there. There we go. I like my trick shots. I know some of you who have been watching my videos like, you know, the trick shots as well. And then the M sprite comes on to show it's open. Obviously that's just basic, but very, very good. And then there's a button, because the thing with this elevator is that it has like 2 sides to buttons, and often people don't realise. Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. And then it's like a, I don't know, it's weird, crazy escape sequence. I don't know what you'd call it. A set piece thing. But you can hunt about, so obviously we can't go through here, but we can see that there is a dead, well, you know, one of these. I think that's changing into a stalker. I think that's what the model was used for in Half-Life 2 and like Nova Prospect and stuff like that. Anyway, it's kind of, there's still like weird stuff going on. And I don't think we can get in there yet. Or ever. But yeah, this bit got me. Like the first time, not that bit. That bit was, you know, quite, you know, it was bizarre, but this bit was just so freaky. The moment, like, this whole thing had played out, I was like, quite terrified, and then you kind of look up and then it was that. I saw the baby and I was like, what was that? And then I think we've got to, yeah, we've got to do a bit of running. And there's still stuff going on which I find a bit bizarre, but anyway, there's like that tension going on. Oh. Oh, yeah, this glitch happened to me the first time. I'm stuck. Okay, so moral of the story, don't jump in this passageway because you'll get stuck in the ceiling. Like, so. Well, it actually happens.
What the hell? No.
And for some reason, every time you log in, or not you log in, you load back up, Alex is speaking. And then there's another dreamscape sequence thing where we're kind of getting experiments done or something. And there are like places to explore. I don't know if we can go in here. No, we can't. That was right. That was right. That was good. And here they are. And there's still things like appearing and disappearing. I didn't actually notice these ones.
I was so worried. It looks like you saved our lives again.
I thought we'd never make it.
This map makes good use of the dialogue.
You don't have to ask me twice. Let's go.
This is creepy in and of itself.
Look out!
And it does this weird thing where you go back to the start, which is a technique used in like games and movies and stuff. I'm not sure why the effect works. But you know, obviously it's different this time. We actually see the advisor. And the stalkers. So that was a very interesting map with a very good premise, and obviously, you know, the puzzles being well set up. Obviously, the only criticism was that the jump scares happened a few too many times, or the attempt at jump scares happened a few too many times. But I think this is supposed to represent the two parents and the kid walking past the screen. I think that's what it's supposed to represent. They got turned into stalkers, basically. I actually just realised that there, and that is not a very nice thing to to realise. Anyway, let's move on to the bonus map, which I haven't played, obviously because it wasn't part of the competition. It wasn't actually included in the judges pack. So I'll play it and just play it as, you know, the first time and see what it's like. Okay, here we are, the bonus entry. I'm not sure who made it or anything like that. Interesting. Oh, a bit of lag saving, I'm sorry, I apologise for that. Now, I hate jumping. I'm not very good at it. There's Mr. G-Man.
Well, well, isn't this just like old times? So nice to have you with us, Mr. Freeman.
I don't know what's going on at all. There's no consistency or anything. I get it's supposed to be one of these wait, what happened there? I have no idea what happened there. Oh, I've got to do the whole jumping puzzle thing all over again. The parkour.
Well, well.
Yeah, you see, I don't understand. I guess it's supposed to be
old time. So nice
abstract and stuff like that, but it's not good. So what happened? We died here. I think we might have fallen off. So that needs to be fixed. Also, this is one of these things like, you know, there's no point in the person dying. Just put like a teleport down there, so if the player does happen to completely fail, they just get put back to the start of the puzzle. Yeah, I'm not sure about this map, to be honest. For some reason I can't jump. I mean, there are maps like this that have been done somewhat well, but I mean, I'm not a fan of abstract maps, and I guess not many other people are.
What's going on in there? Look at these readings. Get him back on course. We need re-immersion therapy now.
These voices were quite spooky. This place isn't bad, or well, the kind of atmosphere there. Right, there we go. Again, I don't understand the abstractness of that. It's very yeah, it's dodgy, but yeah, it was good that it could be entered in as a bonus entry, a bonus experiment as they're called. So yeah, that is Halloween Horror Map Labs #1 mapping competition run on the Source Modding Community Discord server. So I'll have a link to the competition in the description. Also, I believe they are hoping to get Map Labs on Steam, and to do that I think they need $100, I think. So they set up a GoFundMe. I'll also link that down in the description, and if you want to see Map Labs get onto Steam, you can donate to that. And yeah, so there'll be a lot more Map Lab challenges hopefully, and if you want to enter you can join the server. So yeah, thank you for watching.